Hey guys, it's me, Curtis G. I'm in Miami, and I took my second class with a male instructor today. This young man's name is Jason. Jason is wow, I can't say how beautiful his soul is. Outside he's ugly, but y'all know I'm kidding by looking at him, right? So Jason, as I was saying earlier, one of my passions is to let big folks know how incredible yoga is. But before you answer that question, how long have you been practicing yoga?
I've been practicing yoga for over 10 years. I got into yoga when I was injured. My back, I had a back injury that I came to yoga for. It took me actually quite a while of my sister kind of prodding me, and I came into it with the classic male stigma of I was an athlete, yoga's for girls, why would this be a challenge? And I think anybody who's taken a yoga class kind of walks out and goes, wow, that's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I love about yoga, Jason, is after I take a class, I don't feel like I've exercised. I feel like I've been in like church. You know, it's very spiritual, and I have to say your class was extremely spiritual. Your class was physically tough. You talked about the fact that it's a more advanced class. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, and these classes, you walk into a class where, you know, lots of yoga teachers come in here, very mixed level. So I have students who are relatively newer, and then I have, you know, people who've been doing this longer than I have in the room. So trying to find that medium of, you know, I always want it to be a challenging class. So the invitation to challenge yourself should be within whatever your capacity is.
I love that.
And where you want to go day by day. You know, yoga can be so intimidating that people often can they see the form of the shapes. They get stuck in that instead of how do you feel? If you walk out of the class feeling more uplifted and more inspired, that's a good yoga class. Not do you get your leg behind your head or do you stick a handstand. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm like thoroughly unimpressed by that stuff.
I must tell you all then, because if that's the case, Jason, I have had the greatest yoga class. And one of the things I love about the people that got me into yoga, Eric and Victoria and my friends on the West Coast, the fact is that they say in yoga there's no competition, right? And there's no judgment. What's your thoughts on those two statements?
That's a good one, right? I mean, well, I love playing tricky on the judgment thing, because we're always making judgments of things, but I think when people say judgment, it's positive, negative.
Amen, yeah.
It's that sort of thing. So I think, of course, you know, a healthy, like, just as your ego can be the drive to make you even greater, to go after something, like, ego's not a bad thing. Judging something is not a bad thing. It's getting stuck in those judgments like they're real. We have our preferences, we have our likes and our dislikes, and yoga is about skillfully kind of testing the things that we don't like or our boundaries.
I love it.
But that word of skill to me is
interesting.
Huge. Yeah.
Well, as I told Jason, I try to keep these under 3 minutes, but today we're going a little longer because this man is fantastic. As we said earlier, to share this passion that you have, that I have, that is growing in me, and I feel physically and mentally so much better since I started practicing just a couple of months ago. How do we encourage, like, you know, you guys know who've been watching me over the years that I've lost 100 and almost 200 pounds.
Goodness.
Yeah, but it ain't about weight loss. It's about becoming healthier, physically and spiritually. How do we get larger human beings? What can we say to them, Jason, to encourage us? Don't be afraid to try these yoga classes. Don't be afraid. What can we? Any advice?
It's, you know, and it's. I think if we get people in the door, it's the first step. You know, I think once people, if you come to a yoga class totally open, totally willing to step in fully, any yoga teacher, hopefully, will welcome you with open arms. I think the hard part is that first step. People show up and they're timid, they want to, you know, they're there 50% of the way, they're on the edge of the room, they're kind of scared. Instead of like, introduce yourself, show up, be right in the middle, get in there. Nobody cares. Everybody is so supportive of one another.
I love that.
I think it's the first step is if you
just get in the door, right?
Be open and just show up and come fully.
Jason and I both want to encourage you. Now, the studio that we're at, a dear friend of mine is the proprietor, and you've been working with Natalie for how long?
As long as this place has been around.
So tell us about Dharma. Tell us about the studio.
Dharma's a great space. I started when the woman who opens and runs this place has been a good friend, a very respected yoga teacher in the community, and when I was a young little kid, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to open the studio. Will you come and teach? One of the primetime slots?" And I was honored.
What's the address, and how do we? Is there a website? All those kinds of things.
Well, yeah, the address I'm going to get in trouble for.
Don't worry.
It's like it's on Commodore Ave. It's in Coconut Grove in Miami. It's the only studio right now in Coconut Grove. It is a little grassroots, really tight knit. It's a room. The room isn't even what's special. It's the people that come here.
Amen. And the teachers that teach here. So what I'm going to do is I'll do something with and Natalie later, and we'll get all that information. But Jason, I got to tell you, brother, I love you.
Thank you. Love you, man.
brother.
I'm so inspired by you. It's so cool to have people like you come in class.
All right, guys, we end with a peace sign, Jason. So let's give them a little peace sign. Peace of love. We'll talk to you guys later. Come see Jason at Dharma here in Coconut Grove. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.